Welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, as you can see, our topic is, what is our topic? Who is trying to keep the old version of you alive? All right. So these are people who could be harping on, your past missteps, mishaps, people who keep speaking of the past. You get the idea. So, I have three piles for you to choose from, and I will make sure that I put the images for you to pick from. So, I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds. Of course, if you need more than that, make sure, or you're more than welcome to pause and choose one when you're ready. Okay, and you can also choose multiple piles as well. All right, so let's see. Pile number one. Welcome. All right, so I got your oracle cards here, and we're going to see what this is about. So we have Maria Leonza. Maria Leonza. So the meaning of this card is that you are prosperous and will have a lot of spiritual wealth, and also physical abundance as well. All right. Then we have let two become one. Okay. And then we have pink tourmaline. Oh, this is a new deck, by the way. I got a new card, a new deck of cards, for crystals and affirmations. So this is pink tourmaline. Write a letter to someone who hurt you. Be honest at the end. Forgive them. Burn it after. Interesting. Okay. Then we have you are worthy. Okay. Now, automatically, I'm getting that the person who is trying to keep the old version of you alive is definitely an ex. I'm definitely getting romance, but it also could be an ex-friend as well. Maybe somebody who you considered your best friend, or maybe somebody you considered like your best cousin, somebody that you were intertwined with, and that you were extremely close to. And for whatever reason, this person really affected your self-esteem, like to the point where they probably knocked you down to a point where you probably hated yourself. And I know that sounds intense, but that's how intense this energy feels. And with let two become one, I feel that there was some sort of like enmeshment here. There was some sort of the lines were blurred. There was a lack of boundaries between you two. And you respected this person's opinion and wanted them to look at you in a favorable light, so much so that you hung on their every word. Or let's say you didn't hang on their every word, but if they were critical of you, or if they weren't responding to you in a timely manner, however, whatever you would consider a timely manner, you would take it very personally. Yeah. So I'm already getting that the reason that this person, excuse me, it must be the truth. The reason this person wants to keep the old version of you alive is because there was a bit of like a hierarchical difference between you two. This person could tell how much you love them, revered them, how much you wanted them to be in your life, how important they were to you. This person knew that and they understood that. So they want to keep that version of you alive because that's what fuels their ego. And I'm getting that this isn't some like this is an incredibly significant connection to your soul's growth. Like, that's how intense this was. So however this person broke your heart, whether it was a family member, a friend, or a lover, but I am very much getting a lover here. However much this person broke your heart, like, it reshaped you. I'm just getting an image of something being pulled apart and then being put back together, but it's not the same. Like, it's upgraded. So this is somebody that grown um you've grown away from this person, and to them they can't stomach that. Like, they can't even reconcile in their mind that they don't have the same space and place in your life and your heart and mind as they used to. And that's why this person is trying to keep you alive, keep the old version of you alive. Yeah, with this Maria Leonza card, okay, with this Maria Leonza card, the fact that it speaks of abundance, because to me, spiritual wealth and physical abundance is what this person sees from you, and they see that you acquired that without them. And they're confused because to them it's like who you were, or who they were to you, shaped how they saw themselves. So because you put them on this pedestal, because you wanted this connection with them so badly, that's how they view themselves. That, oh yeah, like I'm it. I'm the sugar honey iced tea. Obviously, if this person is, if this person loves me that much, then I must be it. So this person was siphoning your energy. And excuse me. Of course, this could have been very subconscious. I don't think this person was aware of what they were doing, but they were definitely siphoning your energy, because how important you made them in your life also impacted how important they felt about themselves. And that's why this person wants to keep the old version of you alive. And they're intimidated. And honestly, they're intimidated by the fact that you've grown and you've changed so much. You've grown away from them and you've outgrown them entirely. And honestly, I honestly think they cannot process it. They cannot. Like, I'm not going to call this person mental, but it's pretty close. It's in the ballpark. It's in the neighborhood, right? Like, if they're not mental, they're definitely in that zip code or area code. Because to them, it's like, how's that possible? How is pile number one not wrapped around my finger? How does pile number one have other things that they deem more important for me than me? What is that? person's ego is fragile, and they're extremely immature. Extremely immature. To the point where, like, to the point where they it's like shattering their reality that you don't feel the same way that you did about them. And that's why it's so important to them to keep the old version of you alive, because it's like they can't even make sense of, because then to them it's like, if you don't care, oh snap, I don't have my mic. Okay, so that's very interesting because I've never forgotten my mic before. I always have it as part of my setup, and the fact that I realized midway, I was gonna say the fact that I realized that I missed it, but my brain, okay. The fact that I realized midway that I was missing my microphone actually tells me this person was overlooking something about your connection. This person was overlooking something about you and overlooking something about themselves. And now, because your entire outlook on them has changed, now they're forced to face something about themselves, something about you, and something about your connection. There's something about your connection that this person was missing. And I think it's because they were so in their ego that they didn't realize that with you being genuine, that the purpose of that wasn't for them to get a boost, or like, to like pop their collar and like feel themselves. It was actually for you guys to connect. And I think that's like truly connect. And I think that's what they were missing. Because obviously I didn't have my microphone, and not having my microphone also means that it wasn't connected to the laptop, and the quality of the audio was, not as good as with my microphone. So I think they're actually realizing now that the purpose of your love towards them was to genuinely connect, and not as something to boost them up. This person was incredibly selfish. Incredibly selfish. And they thought of you as like a tool to feel better about themselves. And now they're realizing a little too late that that's not like your purpose. That was not your purpose in their life. You were not a pawn in their life. You were somebody who actually provided something that they were missing in their lives. And they didn't see it until this shift that happened. And that's why they need to keep the old version of you alive. All right. So I hope that resonated for you, pile number 1. If you liked this message, and I actually really want to hear from you guys who this person was for you guys in pile number 1, because I think you put this person on a journey. There's a lot of introspection here that this person was forced to do. They did not want to do it. They did not want to look at it, but they were forced to do it. And that is incredibly important. The fact that you were a catalyst to this person's growth. All right, so just put in the comments, who is that? I'm so curious. And I hope to see you guys in the next reading. All right. Take care. Well, number 2. Welcome. So, your message, it already flooded in. Okay. Now, the first card is the Indian War. It really should be called the Native American War, but that's what the card says. So I hope I didn't offend anybody. And the meaning of that card is solutions to a big problem that you've had. Then you also have here the ancient ones. Pile number 2, this is not your pile, okay? If you're not a dreamer, if you don't have like premonitions or dreams that come to fruition, or dreams that give you some insight or warnings in your life, all right, this is not your pile if you're somebody who doesn't use your intuition through life to help guide you through life. This is not your pile if you haven't had like any supernatural experiences, or experiences where you know that there are spirits with you or certain energies around you that are pushing you in a certain direction, things like that, right? So this is not your pile if you're somebody who is not connected to your ancestors and your spirit guides, like connected in a way where you understand their communication, and you see the signs clearly, is what I'm saying. If that makes sense, okay? That's how you know that this is your pile. I'm getting a passed on loved one. Hold on. I'm getting a passed on loved one, like a son or a father. There's a masculine passed on loved one that appears to you. They appear to you all the time. So certain things that they said, certain things that they liked, or if you even get things like flickering lights or weird things happening that around you that remind you of this person, that's an extra confirmation that this is your pile, okay? Now, your crystal card is petrified wood. Be in nature. Notice that she is uncontrollable, and yet there is a balance. There is a balance. Be in that balance. Okay, and then I'll move on to this one, and then sync with the cycles, the black bear. Now, you are somebody who is so divinely protected, it's not even funny. And what I'm also getting here is that prayer works, prayer amplifies, rituals work, rituals amplify. But you're actually somebody who doesn't even need to do any of that stuff. You are so protected that even if you didn't ask for the help, it would show up for you. Even if you didn't ask for the thing that you wanted, it would show up for you. Even if you're naive to people or situations, you're protected, you're safe, you're in a bubble from those things. Okay? I feel like somebody needs to know that. Now, that's not to say don't pray. That's not to say don't do your protection rituals. That's not to say that. But what I'm saying is that your level of protection is different than most, is what I mean. The way you're guarded is Anyone who messes with you is in for it. I'm just going to say that. Anyone who messes with you is in for it. And these are things that you might not even see. You might not bear witness to them, but trust me, your spirits are hot and cold. Hot as in vengeful, cold as in no empathy for whoever they have to come against when it comes to you. It's very intense. It's very intense, I'm not gonna lie. The person who wants to keep the old version of you alive is somebody who saw you during a time where you were extremely chaotic. You were extremely all over the place. You weren't very grounded. You flew by the seat of your pants. You were moving in ways that people didn't quite understand. It didn't make sense to people. So I'm getting, you might be somebody who dropped out of college. You might be somebody who randomly moved out or moved to a different town or city without any backing. You're somebody who probably partied a lot. I'm getting here that the person, I'm actually getting people that want to keep the old version of you alive have seen you messed up. Whether it's alcohol, drugs, like messed up. These are people that have also seen you during times where you've broken down. Maybe there were certain moments that should have been private and were not. And these are people that around you that considered you emotionally unstable. Okay? I hope that doesn't trigger you, because I see why these people want to keep the old version of you alive, because obviously you're not that way anymore. You're completely different. So clearly this is something that people saw from you during your earlier years, your younger years. And the clue into this is these are people who probably even knew you when you were a child. Now, of course, since I mentioned, substances, also, these are people who saw you in your, early 20s, late teens. But I'm also very clearly getting people who knew you since you were a child. Cousins, aunts, uncles, parents, peers, people you went to school with, people who knew you since a child, and they labeled you. They pegged you as pile number 2 is not going to go anywhere. Pile number 2 is always going to have problems, because nothing they ever do makes sense. They're always in their feelings about something, always upset over something, always crying or screaming and yelling. They're always partying. They're always things like that. They're just throwing their life away. That's what people used to think of you. You were just throwing your life away. But what I'm getting here is that you were being blanketed. And the reason why people need to keep the old version of you alive there's going to be a solution to a big problem you have, right? The reason why people need to keep this version of you alive is so that they can reassure themselves that they were right about you, that you wouldn't amount to anything, you would always be in problems, you didn't know how to handle life, you don't know how to make good decisions for yourself, um, you don't have a good head on your shoulders, things like that. Okay? But with this card right here, I'm telling you, people are actually seeing that your life is going in a direction where your level-headedness, your decision making, your discipline can't be denied. And they don't want to believe that. So they have to keep that old version of you alive in their minds to justify all of the projections, the negative projections that they put onto you when they knew you before, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago. They need to justify to themselves that they were right about you, even though what they see in real life is that you are somebody who is doing the damn thing. You are. And even if you feel like you're not, trust and believe me, people see you, people watch you, people have like a magnifying glass on you. So people are aware of the fact that you've grown. People are aware of the fact that you have your life together, even if you don't feel that way, right? Let's say you don't feel like your life is where it's supposed to be. Let's say you still feel like you're all over the place and you don't have anything in check and blah, 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 blah. That's not what people are seeing. And guess what? It's because that's not who you are anymore. They can't deny it. But they also have to justify how much they shitted on you. They have to justify it, right? And that's why they need to keep this old version of you alive. Because if it's difficult for them to merge the idea of who you were versus the reality of who you are. It's difficult for them to do that. And let me tell you something. People are aware that you are spiritually protected. I don't know how. I don't know what proof they've seen, but they're aware that you have. Some people might have gone to like a reader, but I'm not getting that. There's something about the way your life unfolded and the things that people know about you that they kind of understand, even if they don't say it out loud, sorry, but in their minds they understand that was divine. That was divine protection. That was, a divine process. There's something that people can tell that you're connected to a different realm. Like I said, some people might have gone to a reader, but I don't think that's the case for most of you. I honestly think that like people have seen or heard about things working out for you in a way where it kind of seems impossible. And they're like, how is pile number 2 able to do that? And the thought has crossed their minds that maybe it's something otherworldly. Now, sync with the cycles. This tells me that you're on your path and you're exactly where you need to be. So you're actually flowing with your life the way that you're meant to. And even though it doesn't feel right all the time, even though you're uncomfortable maybe a lot of the time, even if you feel lost, even if you feel like you have no direction, even if you feel like everything in your life is topsy-turvy, you're syncing with the cycles. So Of course, you have the new moon, which is dark, and it eventually transitions into the full moon, which is very bright. So those dark times in your life, and funny enough, the fact that I'm even getting this, I'm understanding now that people are actually able to understand the fact that, and this may have taken years and years and years, but people are able to understand now that you had to go through what you've been through. You had to be who you were to be who you are today. It's weird. There's this sort of understanding that people have, even though they may not tell you, even though these are people you may not speak to. So these are people who you could have on social media, or friends of friends, or family members who are connected to the family members that you speak to. There's an understanding that people have that the times in your life that they judged you for were actually dark times, and they were dark for a reason. It was dark because you were processing something. It was dark because you didn't have the support and connection that they had. People are realizing a lot of things about you, but it's also why they want to keep the old version of you alive, because they feel like assholes. I'm not gonna lie, these people feel like assholes for judging you as hard as they did. I'm getting very heavily that these people are aware of how hard they judged you. And I think they're realizing in their minds that there's a level of cruelty here. This is in your pile if you haven't had people gang up on you. This is in your pile if your family hasn't tried to make you feel like the black sheep, or if you are the black sheep. This is in your pile if, you've had people just say like extremely vile things to you without having done anything to them, or people discarding you, or people going out of their way to try to embarrass you, like really harsh behavior. Really harsh behavior. And the people who engaged in this way with you are now realizing that they judged you way more than they should have, and they should have given you grace. But it's also hard for them to grapple with that, which is why they need to keep that old version of you alive. So you're somebody who might have offended people unknowingly. Maybe you were just going through life and somebody was triggered by your beauty, your handsomeness. Maybe somebody was triggered by your intelligence. Maybe you said something that you did not mean in a demeaning way, but somebody warped it and changed it in their minds to take it as an attack on them personally. Like, I'm getting a lot of that people like went out of their way to misunderstand you. People went out of their way to, in their minds, paint you out as the villain. It's almost like if somebody else were to do or say the same thing that you did, they would give this person grace, but because it's you, it's a big deal, it's a big issue, and you're the worst person in the world, and you meant to hurt them, even though you weren't thinking about them. You meant to hurt them, and you want to give it. So now they have to, knock you down a peg because you hurt their feelings. Meanwhile, you're just existing. You're just asking a question. You're just saying something. It's there's no ill intent here, but because you trigger people a lot, and I get here that it's unknowingly, because with you just being who you are is just triggering enough. So clearly there's a level of envy here. There has to be. There has to be a level of envy here. All right, and that's why these people have to keep the old version of you alive. Times where you were down and out, and they were able to relish. Yeah, these people, these people were jealous and envious of you because they actually relished in your downfall. And it wasn't really a downfall. You were being cloaked by spirit, by the way. You were processing a lot of things in your life. And there were a lot of things in your life that you weren't even aware of. But you were literally just having a human experience and people demonized you for it. But you were being protected by your spirit guides the entire time. And the great thing about this is that you're able to see who's who. You're able to see who's who. So even if you're around these people, guess what? You know. You can't unsee it. You can't unhear it. You can't unknow it. So you know now how to interact with these people. If you have to. Alright, so that is your message, pile number 2. I hope that resonated for you. And please put down in the comments, who are these people for you? Is it your family? Is it a friend group? I'm definitely getting a group situation here for you guys. It's definitely a group situation. And they're about to watch you glow up in a way where they might come knocking at your door. Don't know. But either way, thank you so much for choosing me as your reader, and I will see you guys in the next one. Pile number 3. Welcome. Alright, so your first oracle card is, I don't know how to say this, Hechicero. Hechicero. So the meaning of this card actually says, you've been touched by spells or magic sent towards you. So let's see what the other oracle cards say. See the truth. Okay, interesting. Then we have Golden Healer. Participate in a full body stretch for 10 minutes today. Okay. And then we have Make Manifest. Okay. I don't get messages like this often. Alright, so I just want to make that very clear because I don't think that most people like do spells, black magic, throw hexes. I honestly don't think most people do that, right? Like actively, as in like going to go pay somebody or doing a ritual themselves. But for you guys, I am actually getting here that somebody actively wanted to produce a bad outcome in your life. Now, with participate in a full body stretch for 10 minutes today, so for you, movement is actually very important. I'm getting here that this might not have completely gone away. Two messages. One, there are people who have actively gone to somebody, paid somebody, or tried to do something to affect your life spiritually, and it's worn off. Two, there are people who are continuously doing this. That's not to scare you, by the way. This is not to scare you. What I'm getting here is that you're aware. You're aware, but then you also question yourself as well about, oh my gosh, okay, maybe I'm like being really dramatic. No, but you know, when you feel lethargic, when you feel all the motivation draining from your body, when you feel like calling out of work because you're so tired, even though, I don't know, you work a desk job, let's say. I'm going to have to pull the tarot for this one. Because what I'm getting from this message here is that if you've had suspicions of people doing this to you, you're not wrong. I think we're going to need to see who through the tarot. But what's going on here is that people can see that you're strong. And they want to take that strength away from you. And not just physically strong, not just strong mentally speaking, you're also very strong spiritually speaking. And people feel like they have to come up against you in order for them to prosper. So these are people who actually have a lack mentality themselves because they feel like they can't win if you win. Right? Like, I'm getting a very competitive energy here. This isn't somebody who thinks in a very communal or harmonious way. This is somebody who is like, I have to be the winner. I have to be the leader. I have to be in charge. I have to be on top. Because if I'm not on top, then that automatically means that I've lost. I don't know. This person thinks in a very one-dimensional way where they don't know how to share. They can't share. They cannot share. This person does not know how to share. They might try to appear like they know how to share. But really and truly in this person's heart, it's like it's their way or the highway. They cannot share. They cannot compromise. They cannot do any of that. They don't know how. There is a need for control for them to feel a sense of power over you, over your life. And I don't think it's just you. I think it's other people as well. But obviously you came to this reading for yourself. So this person was threatened by your strength, your independence. The fact that you think for yourself is extremely threatening to this person. Because this is somebody who wants to influence your life. And they're realizing that they can't. Because you're a free thinker. You don't just abide by rules because they're rules. You're somebody who has to understand why the rule is that way. What is it protecting us from? Or is it really just to, I don't know, keep us in control so other people can gain more than we have? Things like that. Like, that's how you think about things, right? It's not that you'll be defiant just for the sake of defiance. But it's like, if you don't understand why something is the way that it is, it's difficult for you to conform. That's what it is, conformity. This person is used to people conforming to them in their ways and what they want. And because you're not that way, in that you'll just take somebody's word for things, or you'll just follow somebody's direction because they said something. This person does not like that at all. And because they feel like they can't really control you physically, they feel like they have to take measures, spiritually speaking, to control you. This person could also have actively controlled people around you. Yeah, because people could control people around you so that you feel ostracized, or that people see you in a certain way and you feel uncomfortable and you feel wrong and you feel bad for not conforming to their ways, their rules. Hmm. Make manifest. The beaver. You see those candles in the middle with the crystals and the rose and the feather? This person sees that you have a fortress around yourself. This person sees that you protect yourself. This person wants to get into your core. This person wants to be able to control you emotionally. This person wants to be able to know everything you think, everything you're insecure about. This person wants to know every single thing about you. Not because they want to know you, but so they can control you. And you're not allowing them to do that. And this person does not like that. This is the type of person that let's say you have an opposing opinion from them. To you, it's just a debate. But to them, you're actively going against them. To them, it's an attack. It's an attack on their intelligence. It's an attack on their viewpoint of life. To you, it's a fun conversation and you guys are just going back and forth and it's a learning experience and da 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 da, this, that, and the other. But this other person sees it completely differently. So the way you see the world and the way this person sees the world is completely different. This person sees themselves as having to be the boss of everything and everyone around them. And you're somebody who is sovereign. You don't allow yourself to be controlled by people, their opinions of you or their thoughts of you. You do not allow yourself to be controlled by people. And this person views that as actively going against them, even though you're just being yourself. It's just who you are. But to them, they see it as something personal. It's like you don't respect them and you don't like them and you don't just because you want to live your life the way you want to live it, just because you want to have your own thoughts, just because you want to be independent of everybody else, just because you're different. This person takes your difference as something personal. I don't know why this person is making your personality about them, but they are. So if you have been having a lot of friction because you're not going along with what somebody says, this person has actively tried to do some sort of magic on you. If they have a cousin or a sister or a friend or a coworker who knows somebody, or let's say, all those people that I just mentioned, maybe they do it themselves. They've gone to this person and said, hey, I need you to get this person in line. It's a mental illness. It has to be a mental illness because this person does not see you as an individual. Like, This person feels like you're not allowed. I almost said people, so there may be multiple people. But this person feels like you're not allowed to exist in your own way. You have to exist in a certain way. You just have to. This person is dangerous, and not dangerous in a physical way, but they're dangerous because they don't see the psychopathy of their thought process. They don't see how controlling their nature is. And that's why they're so dangerous. Because this person will go the extra mile, go to the lengths that are honestly overkill in order to get their way, because that's how it must be. This is weird. This person's weird. But what's funny is that the people around them don't see them as weird. And in fact, the people around them don't see the way they treated you as, okay. Some of the people around them don't see the way they treated you as wrong. They don't. So you might be younger than this person, or there just may be a title difference. Like, even if this is somebody from work, you see this person very differently from the people around them. I'll tell you that much. You definitely do. There's something you see about this person that other people can't quite see. And because of that, it's actually difficult for you to go against this person, because this is somebody who builds networks. They use people as shields. This is somebody who would bring another person into their issue with you. To triangulate instead of just handling it with you. Because of their social relationships, they actually have a lot of maneuvering that they can do, and people don't see how manipulative that is. They don't see it. They do not see how manipulative this person is because of the relationship that they have with this person. They don't see how they're being used to fight this person's battles, or as a tool to fight this person's battles. Yeah, this person is definitely going to somebody or doing something themselves. With these crystals, this candle, this bowl, the rocks, the feather, and the rose, this person has spiritual knowledge, and they're using that spiritual knowledge to come against you. But trust and believe you me, even if, let me not say if, this spiritual stuff has definitely touched you, but not in the way they wanted. Not in the way they wanted. You've bounced back, and you always will bounce back, and you'll always transmute whatever energy they sent to you to work for you. Instead, I feel like I have to pull cards. Hold on. Let me quickly just pull some cards. I have to. I just got this really strong push to pull some cards, so just give me 1 second. That's the question. Okay. What is this person's goal with pile number 3? What is this person's goal with pile number 3? Why is this person trying to inflict magic on pile number 3? The 9 of Wands, the 9 of Pentacles reverse, the 5 of Swords. This person wants you to stay stuck where you are. This person does not want you to progress. This person does not want you to move. And they want you to be in constant turmoil. This is an evil person. I'm not even going to lie. This person wants you to be in constant turmoil. And this person wants you to feel like everybody is against you. This person wants you to feel like you don't have anybody. This person wants to make you feel like by going against them, according to them, that the consequence, this person wants you to conform. This is the way of making you conform. By having everybody go against you, making you constantly feel like you need to defend yourself, so that you eventually, run back to them, or let's say it's not even run back, but eventually just acquiesce to the way they want you to be. Yeah, the Knight of Cups reversed. So this person is actually very strategic with the way that they show love and who they show love to as well. So this person, it's giving me a Page of Swords energy as well, interestingly enough, where this person can show affection, they can show care, but their affection and their care is to make sure that they have these connections, not because they're actually genuinely connecting to these people. Like, this person views their social connections as a tool. So it's like, this is the type of person to schmooze, to be a schmoozer, and to make everybody feel like they're their friend and that they understand them and da-da-da-da, this, that, and the other. And then behind closed doors, when they go home, all they do is talk smack about everybody. Like everybody. That they were just hugging on and laughing with and being cool with. So this person views social connection as a means to an end. It's not genuine connection. It's a means to an end. Let me see. Who is this person to you? This person could have a prominent Earth placement or a prominent Aries placement. This person just wants blind followers. This person should be like a cult leader or something. I don't know, because they just want people to blindly follow them, and they want people to feel like they need them in their lives. This is how this person views their relationships. They feel like people should need them in their lives. Okay, so this could be a water sign. Yeah, this person just wants upheaval in your life. They want you to feel terrible about yourself. They want you to feel lonely, isolated. They want you to view yourself in a warped way. So they want you to view yourself as like unworthy, unintelligent, not, beautiful or handsome, or a bad person. Like, they want to warp your perception of yourself. I'm telling you, this is an evil person. But the crazy thing is that the people around them would not consider this person evil because of the way they show up socially. They show up in a very kind and generous way, but they're not that. They use that as a means to have people attach themselves to them. All right. So that is your reading, pile number 3. Please let me know if this resonated for you in the comments. And if it did, let me know. Who is this person? They are out of their mind. They are off their rocker. Like, this screams insecurity. Like, to the utmost degree. But like I said, I hope this resonated for you guys. And thank you for choosing me as your reader. I will see you guys next time. Take care.